Throughout history, the Contra series has seen its ups and downs. From the extreme highs of the NES Classic to the arcade original, Contra III The Alien Wars, Contra Hardcore, Konami's legendary franchise has delivered some really incredible moments, there's no denying it. But it hasn't all been buzzing bullets and flamethrowers, has it? There have been some real misfires too, with less than stellar releases like Contra Legacy of War, Neo Contra, Rogue Core, and more recently, Operation Galuga stinking up the joint. Thankfully, we don't have to rely solely on Konami or AAA publishers to deliver the thrilling run-and-gun action that so many of us crave. Here are 10 incredible indie titles that have carried the torch more effectively than the Contra franchise has in recent years. And hey, why not carry the torch for indie visibility while you're at it? Head over to patreon.com/idreamofindiegames and gain Discord access to the greatest indie gaming community. Enjoy early ad-free shows, receive a shout-out at the end of every video we produce, our podcast 3 days early, and so much more. Your new indie gaming community is waiting for you. First up is a rather recent release. It's Iron Meat, coming to us from a great new publisher that has been making an impact on the indie gaming scene in a big way. It's Retroware. Iron Meat is not only an impressively savage 2D run-and-gun shooter in its own right, but it currently sits with more reviews on Steam than Contra Operation Galuga, an actual Konami-released Contra game. Incredible. This just goes to show that more and more players are turning to indie developers and publishers as opposed to automatically running towards a recognizable name these days. And with good reason. In my opinion, Iron Meat is a much better game with awesome retro visuals, tons of blood and violence, an amazing assortment of weapons and bosses, and an epic metal soundtrack. Even better, Iron Meat just recently received a free update that adds additional mutators, a boss rush mode, arcade mode, and more. It looks like Meat should be on your menu, boys and girls. Don't miss out on this excellent indie release, which quite literally embarrassed Konami's most recent effort. Coming in at number 9 on our list is the fantastic indie effort, it's Blazing Chrome. This one's coming to us from Joy Masher, a name that you will hear again later on this list, and the Arcade Crew. Now look, if you're watching a video like this and haven't played Blazing Chrome yet, pause the video, go purchase the game, play it, and then please unpause the video and finish watching it so I can get the watch time, please. In seriousness, few indie run-and-gun games can match the classic retro gaming action that Blazing Chrome supplies. Its fantastic 16-bit aesthetic, roaring soundtrack, and local co-op features make it a surefire winner. Toss in some crazy over-the-top bosses, full-on motorcycle action scenes, and some very tight mechanics, and Blazing Chrome quickly becomes a no-brainer for fans of the genre. I can't think of a recent Contra game that comes close to offering the same amount of visceral, satisfying gameplay that this one does. Grab it! Moving on, we next have a title that is a bit girthier than your average run-and-gun shooter, but it is so savagely designed that it can't be ignored, and that is Valfaris. Developed by Steel Mantis and published by Silver Lining Interactive, Valfaris was an awesome game as it was, but since its release it's gotten even better with a full metal mode. This adds a new Game Plus feature that makes an already difficult title even more so. Valfaris has an awesome story and setting, tons of weapons and upgrades, epic bosses, and much like other games on this list, an absolutely soaring metal-infused soundtrack. It's brutal, beautiful, plays great, and should be in every run-and-gun gamer's collection without question. No denying it's maybe the toughest game on this list, but oh so rewarding. We've got to head back to 2015. Feels like an eternity ago now, doesn't it? But that's our next game on the list. It is Super Cyborg, coming to us from Arter Games. It's a run-and-gun shooter, no surprise, that definitely feels inspired by the original Contra in particular. Super Cyborg has an amazingly authentic NES look, with the gameplay to complement that visual style perfectly. Its inspiration is clear even down to the assortment of weapons, such as the classic spread shot. That said, these weapons also come with an alternate fire, which adds a unique element to the traditional gameplay. Offering both online and local co-op, the game feels great to play with strong level designs, a few difficulty options to choose between, and a booming retro soundtrack. If you love the earliest of Contra games in particular, Super Cyborg will easily satisfy your needs. It's super affordable too, with a retail price of just $4.99 here in North America. Time to bro down with an indie classic. This is Broforce, which eventually was made available on all major platforms, but first released back in 2015. Broforce heavily leans into its humor, clearly inspired by the classic action movies that so many of us grew up loving. You'll certainly get some Contra here, yes, and even a little bit of Metal Slug with some surprisingly large, destructible levels to shoot the hell out of. There's special attacks, hand-to-hand combat, bombs, machine guns, you name it, it's here. The Bro system, which is essentially how you earn additional lives in the game, works very well with players unlocking more characters, adding some degree of strategy to the game in the process. Bros all feel rather unique from one another, meaning that there's tons of different ways to experience the game. Where the real fun comes in, though, is in the multiplayer, where players can use some interesting team-ups. It's completely unhinged, has a great retro look, awesome soundtrack, feels really good to play, and definitely belongs on a list such as this. There's even a competitive mode or two in a full-on level editor. Now how's that for value? Halfway through our list now, here's Fury Unleashed, which, at the time of this video, is 90% off, so if you act quickly, you might get lucky. Don't let the roguelike aspect of the game deter you, as it's still a very fun title. Fury Unleashed has a wonderful comic book art style, and like some of the other games included today, features both local and online play so that you won't have to go it alone. Heroes grow stronger through runs as you unlock more weapons, making this somewhat of a fusion of different games, with Contra being a clear influence, but also titles such as Dead Cells and even Rogue Legacy. Also calling back to games like Comic Zone with its art style, each level feels directly lifted from a print comic, and hosts dangerous enemies on top of it. Thankfully, you'll have an assortment of combos to keep you alive. There's a few different difficulty options, different playstyles, and procedurally generated worlds to keep you engaged for hours. Even better, the soundtrack features composers from The Witcher and Shadow Warrior series, so it's just as epic as you would think. Definitely consider grabbing this one, it goes on sale often, even if you happen to miss the sale that's happening while I make this video. Moving right along, this is HUNTDOWN, coming to us from Easy Trigger Games and Coffee Stain Publishing. HUNTDOWN definitely has some Contra inspiration without question with its arcade-style gameplay, but it also feels like one of those lesser-known 16-bit titles. I see a few people on Steam compare it to games like Cliffhanger of all games, or The Lawnmower Man, and I definitely can see where they're coming from with that. I liked a lot of those weird movie tie-in games, just side note there. There's a distinct 80s vibe to this one, but boy, of all the games on this list, visually, I think I enjoy the look of HUNTDOWN the most, not to pick favorites. Much like most games in this genre, you or a friend will run and shoot your way through a futuristic setting, playing as one of 3 heroes across a staggering 20 levels. Take down gangs using an assortment of different weapons, and a theme of this video, the soundtrack is awesome. So if you're looking for a true run and gun callback that takes its inspirations from many different sources, HUNTDOWN shouldn't be slept on. I guess you could say this list is firing on all cylinders, right? Now we have Super Time Force Ultra, a game that actually shares some similarities with one of our previous entries, Broforce. This time-traveling run-and-gun shooter has you blasting down foes using an assortment of different characters and abilities, but time is against you. In order to survive, you'll need to master the ever-so-important Time Out ability. The awesome pixel art brings this world to life alongside very tight controls. Action is great, I love the time travel mechanic including the ability to rewind, and with 19 different characters and 6 unique areas, you'll be busy for hours just like the name implies. Do not underestimate this release, however, it's very tough. Oh, and that pixel art, it is to die for. And speaking of dying, you're going to do that a lot in this game, but you control time. That's the good news. Here's an awesome release that doesn't get talked about nearly enough in my opinion. Mercenary Kings, Blast to the Past again here. The Reloaded edition specifically is an awesome way to experience it if you did miss out all those years ago. The game is a wonderful blend of run-and-gun shooting that also has a surprisingly robust weapon customization system, and an interesting mission-based setup that maybe doesn't feel quite as linear as a Contra game, but is still an absolute blast, especially with friends. Missions are time-based, ranging from rescuing hostages to collecting items, but what I really enjoyed about the game was playing in co-op. It's a title where teamwork truly does make a big difference. The detailed pixel art is excellent, but the run-and-gun shooting and platforming don't feel all that far off from a Contra game, or maybe even more like a Metal Slug title. Absolutely worth grabbing, and still a blast even all these years later. And last, but certainly not least, to close out this list, a bit of a deep cut. Surprised, huh? It's Oniken from Joy Masher, who already made one appearance on this list. These guys really know their retro games, as Oniken is yet another example of NES-style gameplay executed on brilliantly. The awesome visuals and soundtrack are married to some great 8-bit infused gameplay with 18 tough bosses, a boss rush mode, 6 missions, and a hardcore mode for added challenge. If you truly want to take a time capsule back into the 80s, this is the game for you. But hey, that's gonna do it for this list, folks. How about all of these indies that kicked some serious ass? They'll have you forgetting about those less stellar Contra games that have been released over the past few years. What did you think of the run and gun games on this list for yourself, though? Let us know in the comments below. Maybe you like modern Contra, that's totally cool too. We can agree to disagree. I can't wait to hear from you, and voice to the voiceless. See you in the next video.